Okay, good evening, everybody. Good morning if you're joining from the States, either from the East Coast to West Coast, and very, very good early morning if you're joining from Australia or New Zealand. Some name does ring a bell that could be joining from Oceania. So welcome to everybody to this webinar, which we've called the best solution for first-time inventors. I thought that after talking to many of you, after months and probably even years, I thought that the best was to sit down here, my partner, my colleague, and my friend Alejandro, who's the CEO of LastBasic, to help us to talk us through what the situation, what the industry is for you guys as first-time inventors. We know that one day you may wake up with a great idea, invention idea, or your baby. One of the things you may do is immediately jump into Google and start saying, okay, what shall I do? How can Google help me? You may be maturing that idea for days, for weeks, for months, but you need help. Basically, you need somebody who can guide you. Many of you don't know how to proceed with that. So we've encountered many situations, different situations, inventors like yourselves with more experience, inventors who've got less experience. And as I said, you jump into Google, the first thing you probably do is, how to turn your invention idea into product, into prototype. Those are the keywords that you type in, and suddenly, you start getting on your website, on your searcher, Google, whatever, Yahoo, you start getting blogs, corporates, companies who can help you. Platforms with freelancers, you get all kinds of solutions. And now, which is the best solution there? And what do you think, Alejandro? Do you think that what should they be doing the first once they have this invention idea? What do you think is the best solution for them in order to? Do you think would be the best path for them to start with?
Well, I think first things first. Hello, everyone. As Liz said, I created LastBasic a few years ago, and that was exactly the main purpose of creating LastBasic, was trying to be close to the typical inventor, like someone that is trying to bring this idea into reality. So let's say, answering that question, I think it is all about understanding what do you want to create. So there's a lot of research probably that needs to happen before you decide what do you want to do. Yes. We have, depending on the type of entrepreneur, there's like people that prefer to, create a business plan around that idea because they have more, like a financial approach to that idea. They want to create a business. There's also, we have people that want to create something as a hobby for, testing something in their home. So the first thing is, what do you want to do with that idea? Have those thoughts really clear, and then I start searching a lot. It's like most of the time.
But searching for what exactly?
It was like I start searching for the marketing, like the market status, like what is happening with that idea that you have exists already, exactly. And like if that idea is not already there, that is like really difficult indeed. But like there's always different options for approaching the same idea. So you just need to try to find like the value proposition of that idea that you have. So answering your question, for me, the first step would be market research, trying to bring something sustainable,
something easy. Something like Google, right?
So that's exactly.
Go into Amazon, go into any huge e-commerce and see if there's a product out there already existing. And don't be afraid if there is. It's not a matter of copying that product. It's a matter of improving that idea. Mm-hmm. So if you already have that idea and you see that there's a similar product out there, that's not an issue. It's how can you improve that? How different is your device from that existing device? Mm-hmm. And I think that, secondly, what they need to do is ask the question, is there a need out there of that product out there? I mean, if there are competition, if there are similar products, definitely there is a need there. But if that industry is empty, or that, market gap is empty, then you should ask yourself, is there a need for that product? And what's the best way to answer that question? How do you go about finding out, Alejandro,
well, I think
there's a need for that product?
The thing is that there's a lot of, easy access tools for that. So you can just like create a small form with like, there's like too many tools out there, like Google Forms, for example, or Typeform, that allow you to create like a simple survey that you can send to your family, friends, and maybe, you can create a small Facebook ad campaign or even a Google ad campaign if you feel comfortable with that. And once that you create, that survey, just like start, don't be afraid of, getting some feedback of that idea. Like, does someone of your environment, like of your ecosystem, is needing that and learning from that? And once that you have the answer, then start building. So yes, like for me, there's like too many tools. So prototype into the prototype. And like for doing so, you can, just like create a simple form, online form.
Yeah. And also, I mean, you probably want to go into some platform where you can find out if there's a patent already existing, a patent or a patent, depending where you pronounce it. If it already exists, I mean, what are the tools? Or maybe I can help you, because I'm going to. By the way, if you have questions, we've got a Q&A section here. You can just throw in your questions in there, and we'll definitely answer those questions after we finish our speech. I'm going to throw in here in the chat box here. I'm going to throw in a link to everybody. Sorry, here. Okay. This link takes you to an article we've got in our Knowledge Hub. It gives you information of how to search for patents. You've got different platforms. You've got Google Patent. You've got World Industrial Patent. I think it's WIPO. I think that's the most common one. It takes time. The easiest way definitely is to pay an attorney or a lawyer to get you that research patent done. But I mean, you can do it yourself, not having to pay it. But you will take time. You won't be able to probably have all the tools and all the resources to to search the world in order to patents. But definitely, that's a way to do it.
Yeah, right? I think something important is that there's no need to spend a lot of money at the beginning. Just like trying to, you're going to waste a lot of like time, energy, and money if you are obsessed trying to protect the idea from the very beginning. Indeed, LastBasic as a platform, we always advocate for, open innovation and sharing your idea. So the thing is that you can do some, early search around that, like trying to, get some early feelings on that. But I personally don't think that like obsession on that matter helps. I personally think that there's easy ways for and as you mentioned, like there's a lot of different tools for searching that.
Once you've done the research, okay, so you know a little bit about what's in the market. You still think that your idea is something feasible that you can go with. You think there's a need. You've talked to your family. You've talked to your friends. They think it's a great idea. So you start looking for somebody who can build. Always the first step is to go with a prototype, correct? I mean, you just can't go with a product, okay? That's impossible. No way, Jose. You have to go with a prototype first, okay? Prototype, you validate, you test, you redo that prototype, you prove it, and so on, until you get to the pre-production. And then that pre-production is ready to go into the product. And correct me if I'm wrong, but that's more or less how it works. You go into manufacturing, you start doing mass manufacturing, so on. If that's the route you want to go to. Now, in order to get that prototype done, what are the solutions, basically?
Well, so I think the more like the easy solution for that would be trying to find someone in your environment that is, or like one of your friends or maybe colleagues of the university, whatever, that is a technical guy that could start helping you with, some, initial thoughts around like how much that thing will cost or how difficult that thing is to create. And then once that you have that, the reality is that like this, you can't build, a professional and functional prototype with no commitment from someone. And that is something that sometimes you can't ask to a friend. And not all your friends that are technical, they want to help you building that thing. So one of the most common scenarios that we see is that people try to, like, they will probably start searching in Google about, how can I create my idea? And then you will probably find a few traditional consultancies. And once that
tell us about the traditional consultancies. How did they perform? Because you come from a traditional consultancy.
Yes.
You've got big ones, huge ones, like
PCH, for example, international one.
And then normally the smaller ones. Yes,
the smaller ones. Yes, I personally like if it's like for the type of like people that is now attending this webinar, probably reaching a small agency could be something functional. The reality is that those small agencies, the way that they work, they have, they all have high infrastructure costs for the employees that they have, all the engineers and everything. So it is not that easy for them, giving you an accessible price for creating that idea. So that's why, indeed, we will tell something about these later. That's why we create LastBasic, right? Like trying to reduce those costs, so we are not.
And also, they have to negotiate, don't they? They have to take time to negotiate.
Yeah, that's like
pricing.
Yeah, the thing is that
they're not transparent.
It is more about, there's a lot of inefficiencies during the process. So there's like a lot of, budgets that comes and go, and probably you're not going to close any, final budget for the whole project, which basically means that in a few months, they will come back saying like, hey, this is completely out of scope. And the reality is that when you're creating something, you always want to iterate on that thing. So it is difficult to see a prototype that ends the same way that they start. So that's why in our own process we have different iterations during the journey. Right?
And what about the priority they get from these companies? I mean, you normally have bigger projects, and they come with smaller ideas, I suppose.
Exactly.
So what happens? I mean, they take time to get.
Yeah, it will take time, and depending on the size of the agency and the amount of work that they have at that point, they will probably prioritize your project depending on how much benefit they are getting from you. So I think it is a difficult question, because it is not. They will probably provide you with something that is not sustainable. Probably if you find from one of those small agencies a price that is something that could potentially fit with your budget, what can happen is that later in the process, they will start thinking on different ways for charging you more, because they won't have this benefit. And as I mentioned, the structure is always the same for all these companies. So they will, at the end, they will translate that to you.
Yeah. So this is the point where you basically came with the idea of creating something online, and that's why we created LastBasic.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us, what is the difference between LastBasic and the traditional consultancies? What are the benefits in order for them to understand what we're trying to achieve with LastBasic that traditional consultancies can't do?
Good. So, well, basically, when we were conceptualizing, LastBasic as a company, I spent a lot of time, checking other, business models around the world, and I was like, hey, how can platforms that are, like Uber, for example, how they can potentially offer a better service and then charge the clients less, and how that combination works. And at the end, the conclusion for that was that this what is the word for these? This vectors, like change vectors. And when you find one of those vectors, removing inefficiencies, or using a connection of different networks and people from all over the world, or using the open innovation, allow you to offer more benefits without charging more to the client, right? So I decided at that point that the traditional engineering consultancy was a little bit old-fashioned, and that there's like pretty sustainable models out there, like 99 Designs, that they can offer you a lot of value, like with even like more proposals of your idea, with like less human interaction, but like in the good way. There's no need for, like meeting anyone, like someone of the company every, month for ensuring that everything goes in the right direction. Like these platforms allow you to show everything, right?
So what do you think are the key value differences and proposals that LastBasic offers Inventors in difference to traditional consultancies?
Well, the thing is that
if you can be very specific on that.
Yes. So basically, removing the inefficiencies, what I mentioned, allow us to be accessible. And
accessible is one.
Accessible is one of those. Definitely. And the other one is that, like, using open innovation, that indeed is also helping us being accessible, is also giving much more value compared with other, small agencies that they only have, 2 engineers with the same cultural approach, with the same, way of seeing problems and everything. And if you open a little bit if you start, opening that idea to like people from all over the world, as LastBasic do, that's the thing, is that you will start instantly getting a lot of value into the system.
Exactly, because this is something we'll be talking about later on. We have a large community of experts, and when we're talking about experts, we're talking about product designers, we're talking about electrical engineers, we're talking about mechanical engineers, makers, etc., who basically register on our platform and live on our platform. And that's the community that we engage with your ideas. Okay, so we put your ideas in contact with that community in order to get that idea turned into a physical, functional prototype. So, and we'll be talking about that later on. And this is something that, of course, traditional consultancies cannot do, because they've got payroll employees, and that's it. And another thing that I think is a good difference is that we don't have these bottlenecks that traditional consultancies have, because of the priorities, because of whatever. Projects come in and they get started.
Exactly.
That's an important thing, and we don't have that, as I said, that bottleneck.
Right. Yes, correct. And there's another thing I think that should highlight is the fact that, and this was more visible. It was more visible at the beginning when we started with these. Is that as we are ensuring, a fixed price at the beginning, what happened is that we were still discovering how we were planning to do, like, all these, process and structure, and we were losing money with some of the projects. That the reality is that as our key, one of these main pillars of LastBasic is to just offer simplicity and just offer something that is close. Remember that part, right? That we were at the beginning, sacrificing or margin a lot just for ensuring that we are, offering what we said, that is like one price, and with that price you will obtain a functional and an attractive prototype for that, and whatever happens on the back end is our thing, and we will try to ensure that all connections are well done for getting that thing done.
And that's how we designed, thanks to our operations team, we designed a process, a process in product development. Describe a little bit how this process works, if you can do it in.
I think a few words. So basically, Luis mentioned these at the beginning of this webinar. The thing is that the key is iteration, right? So we decide how we can split or divide the whole process of engineering and designing in different steps, so we can ensure that there are different iterations all over the process. The more iterations, the better. So that's why we decided to start with a sort of brainstorm contest, that is the sketch one, in which a lot of designers will start, providing you with concepts, right? That they are not super well defined, that they will help you to take the first big decision. That is what is the size, the aspect that I want, why people is going to buy this thing, and then you start providing feedback, and then you will move to the next step, that is electronic engineering. That the big questions start, right? What are the things that I want to prioritize, and what are the things that I want to sacrifice, for ensuring that this thing work. And then with the help of the experts, they will put all that information in the platform for you, so you just need to decide, and then you will move to the 3D model contest, in which we start, wrapping everything, and then you will see, how the electronic and the design is combined, and then at the end of the process, we ask the mechanical engineers just like to put everything together
into a casing.
Yeah, into the casing, just like to show that to the inventor in this case, so you guys can like feel and touch what is going to.
That's then in the prototype.
Well,
that's the fifth stage.
That is the last one. But like even with that, even if it's a digital approach for everything at that point, you will be able to take the core decisions at that point. And once that you decide that you want to go for that, then we run into the prototyping contest, in which we will start talking about how we want to manufacture that, what are the materials that we want to use, or in this case, that the inventor want to use. And we put everything together, and then once that everything is manufactured and assembled, we send that to you guys. Yes,
exactly. So I mean, it's a development process divided into 5 phases.
Yes.
Okay. Sketching, electrical engineering, 3D designing, mechanical engineering, and finally the prototyping, which is the assembly and the testing, where we send it out to you. Okay. And that's when you get a physical product. Because you keep asking me, sometimes I get this question from you. Well, exactly what do I get? You get a physical product that's functional, with the actuators, with all the electronics and everything. It should be working definitely before we send it out to you. We're not going to make something that's not working for you. Okay. So, and of course, you also get all the documentation together with that physical product. So, prices. Let's talk about prices very quickly. We're very transparent in that sense. Because we're a marketplace, we have to have a transparent and a one-time payment. It's a one-time. But I want you to explain to them. You can go into lastbasic.com, by the way. Lastbasic.com, in the section of pricing, you've got all the information there, but because we're not going to go into all the different prices that we have. But I do want Alejandro to explain to us, why were those prices defined the way they are, and what do we do with that money?
Yeah, so basically, it is all about complexity, right? So indeed, I think we still have like this 3 big, set of packages. That is, if you want something that just contain mechanics, so there's no electronic involved, then it's one package that is like
495.
Yeah, exactly, right? And then if you want to include electronics, but you're not thinking on pre-production, you're not thinking of creating like more than one unit yet. What you can do is like include electronics in a way that is more accessible, that is using commercial electronics. So we can start including, Arduino or Raspberry Pi. We can start including, commercial electronics with commercial actuators and sensors. And then we can, like sometimes these prototypes are a little bit bigger compared with the last option, but they are like pretty reliable at the end. So that is pretty much like people select that option a lot.
Yeah, but it's always the recommended one. Because I mean, let's go for an MVP first. Test the MVP with commercial components, and then once you've tested it and see if you want to, because you normally want to improve things. Once you've shown it around with friends, family, investors, you come back to us and say, I want to improve this. I want to validate something different. I want to evolve my prototype. And that's when we go into the 8,995, I think it is.
Yes.
Which is what we call the premium MVP. Okay. And that we use customized components. Okay. So the
most important. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The PCB is the most important part, like brain. Let's say it in those words.
Electronics.
Yes. So that is like right. So I think like summarizing, the prices are in the website.
Exactly.
I think what is more important is that there's only one price. If we set that your project is feasible in the platform, that is something that we are doing for free. We have in the team, we have our COO, we have good engineers like checking all that information for you guys for free, saying like your project is feasible for us. So if we decide that we can do that for you, everything is going to go smooth, right? So
sorry.
No, what I'm saying is that so if you decide that you want to create something and we say that it's feasible in the platform, there's no like extra barriers for you. There's no surprises during the process.
And what makes it feasible?
What makes it feasible is like,
let's explain what makes it feasible for us.
Yes,
what doesn't make it feasible?
Well, at the end, like when talking about just mechanic prototypes, we're always saying that like it is all about the size, the amount of material that we want to use, and of course the complexity of the parts. So we are not doing now, like super complex devices with more than 100 parts that everything should be connected. We indeed can do that, but we want to, of course, ensure, or the platform at the end ensures the quality, so we can commit to creating things like that complex. But when talking about electronic devices, I think the rule for that is like if it has something to do with Internet of Things, that basically means that like your device is going to take information from the environment and then do some sort of small actuations, like for example like vibration or LED indications, or we create also like some like the smart diffuser, right, that diffuse fumes and everything, right? So like it's small things. Let's say that everything should feed on a box of 30 by 30 by 30 centimeters, right? And yeah, and when talking about the most also common question about like the prototypes that has custom PCB, it is that like how small we can do that. Custom PCBs allow us to be to create things that are really small. Like indeed we are in the process of creating a ring, right? Like the NFT ring, yeah, right? That is like pretty small, but there's always some constraints on those type of projects.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you, kind of lost it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what do we do with that money? How does that money get spent within LastBasic? I mean, definitely we take part, which is about 20% margin, 2022. The rest of it, how is it spent?
Yeah, so pretty clear, right? At the end, we are showing who are the people that is collaborating during the process. So we will basically pay all the experts in the process that we have. We talk about designers, good designers, indeed. We're talking about electronic engineers, mechanical engineers, and sometimes we include third-party, experts that could help us in specific projects for ensuring that thing work. And then, of course, we pay all the manufacturers and suppliers. So once that we have everything, yes, all the materials
and delivery,
and delivery.
And delivery. So I mean that takes quite a bit of about 80% of or even more than that of the money that you deliver to us, you pay us, that goes to creating that. And of course we take part, as I said, about 20% of margin. So that's the way it's spent. Let's talk about quickly because I want to jump in quickly into the Q&A. Let's talk about the expert community. What can you tell us about the expert community? We've talked about the product designers, we talked about engineers, electronic, mechanical, basically register, live or not. What kind of profiles do they have? Whereabouts do they come from? How do we rank them? How do we categorize them?
Well, so like the beautiful part of that is that there's a lot of organic positioning in the platform. So what we are always offering is the best experts in the platform that they have already created functional prototypes into our own ecosystem. Of course, sometimes we start including newies inside every single contest, so we can ensure that again open innovation happens, because like not all dogs they know all the answers. So that's why I started including some fresh experts. At the end, let's say that ranking and all these reputation system is pretty organic into the system. But yes, we try to put really good experts. We do our own scouting, so we are not kind of non-filtering the type of expert that are entering into the system. We have our own internal KPIs and metrics for ensuring that these guys can provide you with that value. And at this point right now, we are always reviewing all the proposals that the client, in this case, Inventors, receive. So every time that a proposal is showed to you, we need some sort of verification on that, right? So because like sometimes experts decide to send like small tweaks on the different proposals, but we ensure that like most of the proposals are pretty original.
Yeah. Okay. And normally that's important to know that once you're moving on in the product development, you will be getting more experts on the design part, because you will need to see more deliveries in terms of designing for you to approve. At the end, it's important for you to understand that you do the approving of the designs in each contest. Each phase is a contest. must remind you that. And once you've chosen the winning design, you move on to the next stage. That's the way to move on. And again, the contest starts again with different designers bringing in the designs, blah, blah, blah. And you rank and you select the winning design in order to move on to the next one. So as you move on the product development route, you will be getting less experts working on your project. You don't need that many on the probably on the mechanical engineering side as you do with the sketching phase. Okay, so that's important for you to know. Also, there are experts from all over the world.
Yes,
yes, exactly. So another important thing, other than the let me show you. Oh, I was about to show you, but. God, what is it? Other than doing prototyping, we also, I mean, after talking to many of you over the years, we've also wanted to accompany you in your entrepreneurial career. So we've agreed with third-party companies, what we call preferred partners, to offer additional services based on, for example, we've got business mentorship, we've got patenting and IP registration, we've got crowdfunding consultations and coaching, we've got crowdfunding making with an agency. Out of South Korea, believe it or not, they've got very good prices, and basically what we've done is we've agreed with them a service that could fit what you need and prices that may be, I think, very much affordable for you. Fixed prices, which is something, you know, it kind of cost us very much to make them come down with fixed prices. But we've got also app development. We don't do software. That's something you need to know. We do hardware. We do, as Alejandro was telling you, IoT products. Therefore, we do connections between the product and a device, a mobile, for example, but we don't make it pretty. We don't do the application as such, okay? And that's something that that's why we bring in a third-party company who can do that also for you, unless you want to find also you know, a local partner within your territory or your country. We also do photo shooting, video making, in case you want to go crowdfunding, but that's all part of the additional services. These are, as I said, additional services that we have in the platform. So once you've agreed with us to move on with a project, you can see all these additional services that we have in there for you to you know, to buy into if you want to buy them, unless you want to go in and buy and agree with your own local suppliers. Okay, so we've basically let me go back to what I was there we go. We've gone on for nearly 40 minutes. Let's stop chatting here and let's look at what questions that you have. I'm going to go into the Q&A section first. And Alejandro, do you want to read out some questions?
Yes, so yes, 100%. So we have here, first question was about, do you have experience in developing?
Joseph. Yeah.
No,
sorry.
Yeah, I'm starting, I think, from the beginning.
Irek.
I'm assuming, yeah.
Irek, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, well, his short name is Irek.
Yeah, okay, good. Thank you for that one.
Because I know him.
Okay.
I've been talking to him.
Thank you for that one. So basically, do you have experience in developing tech gadgets powered by AI? So reality is that, surprisingly, the hardware doesn't imply at the beginning the artificial intelligence by itself. So we can indeed create the hardware for that, but we are not creating, as Luis mentioned, the software for the AI. So what we can potentially do is we can create this, like the hardware, and then like let's say that we prepare that hardware for ensuring that in the future the firmware developer and the software developer can start including those AI systems, right? So potentially the answer for that one is yes, we can create it, but we're not creating the AI. And we have create a few of those. We indeed have a few in the process, like the home security one, that they are of course planning with their own, in this case with their own firmware designers to in like brief words, complicate a little bit their life, including artificial intelligence on those.
Okay, next one.
So should I have a project idea?
Lucas.
Okay, got it. Should I have a project idea well defined, or can a concept idea and develop it on the process? So yes, exactly. So let's say that we have been good doing both of the approaches, right? So no matter how specific or how detailed is your idea at the beginning, we can either provide you with a lot of crazy concepts at the beginning with like a lot of different approaches, or if you came with something that is a little bit more with more constraints, then what you will receive is like the same amount of proposals, but with most of the same features on all the different proposals. So you can decide how wide do you want to open the.
I think it is important. Exactly. It's important for you to understand that before you jump into the sketching phase, there is a phase called what we call the onboarding. The onboarding is absolutely key. That's when we basically extract all the information from you, the ops team, they extract all the information from you to create a contest card, which is a briefing for the experts. Okay, the more information we get from you, the better. So videos, designs, similar copies that you found in the market, descriptions, etc. But an important thing is your minimum requirements. Two things are important. Your minimum requirements that you need. So if you want to open up the creativity for the designers to come back to you with different ideas, that's great. But give them at least what the musts that they have to include in their designs. Okay, that's important. And the second thing is definitely also the if you have, of course, all the documentation around it, and if you have any similar products which I've mentioned before, but definitely that's
competitors could be
competitors definitely. If there's something similar that can help us with that, But minimum requirements is important. Okay, so the more, don't be shy about giving us information in the onboarding. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah, at the end, it's all about, for us, it is all about priorities, right?
Yeah.
You need to, we will help you creating that. Like the process will help you, understand what are those priorities. But reality is that, like, there's no prototype that can do everything, right? So you need to decide where do you want LastBasic experts to put focus on,
exactly.
Right?
So what do you want to validate?
Exactly.
So that's the other thing important that you need to do. What is it you want to validate with that prototype? Because with that we can then understand to a better extent what is it we need to work around in order to give you the delivery that you need. Okay.
So,
Andrea Berzoya.
Yeah, to the next question, do you have an NDA with a freelance expert that will work on the idea? For sure, we have all the. It is indeed like mandatory for all the experts to have an NDA for start participating on those contests. We are, improving the platform day, and we want to start including even more features for ensuring that you guys have all the information. On who has participated in anything, on everything, and every single part of your idea. But yes, we didn't have any, complication around that in the past, and we are pretty happy on the commitment that an expert has with us. So
yes, but I mean, basically, is that they all have an NDA side. They have to have an NDA side, or else they can't become an expert with us. And
I really like the next question from Joseph. Joseph, the thing is that are your designers updated about new materials, software, and market trends to develop an idea? I think indeed we are pretty proud with that fact. The thing is that I think it is part of the freelancer mindset, like to be always updated, because otherwise they lose their traction, so they are not accommodated on a daily work. Company or whatever. So yes, I'm pretty surprised every time. We are all discovering a lot of like cool things from our experts, and hopefully in the short term we will start including those things that they are getting better and better. We can show that in the platform, so you guys know that, like, the experts that you are working for your idea, they are certificated in like these, or they are specialized on like waterproof devices and things like that. Proud of that.
Sure.
So can you share examples of prototypes of companies you help that now have a running business? Yes, indeed. Well, the one that came to my mind, I think, in this case, this guy, he had the company already built it. Not sure about that one, but he created, like, he went with us. He created a first iteration with us. He wants that it is one of, or I think, like, most interesting success cases that we have in the platform. This guy came with an idea, and once that he the Pebbles one, once that he created Rob. That, yeah, Rob, once that he created, like, first iteration in the process, came back saying, "Hey guys, this was good. Like, you allow me to test, the size, the experience, materials, everything. But then there are, like, some things are missing." And we were always happy to hear that. And then we started saying, like, hey, how we can improve that? So he came and we created another iteration, and then he bring the idea to the, like, completely next level. And as we have all the information of the previous version, then we were able of, like, allowing him to succeed. And not sure how he's performing now in the business, but I have a really good. We had a really good relationship.
Yeah, I mean, to answer your question, Chelsea, we don't really follow the inventors to where they are, wherever they end up. I mean, we do have a good relation with many of them because they come back, they work on a different project or the same project, they improve it and so on. But once they go from us, I mean, we do have an understanding if they want to go crowdfunding more or less, if they want to go, manufacturing and into retail, for example, mass production. But we kind of lose track. I mean, we have to keep it's difficult for us to keep track with them. That's what I'm trying to tell you. We would like to know a little bit more about them, but we can't really tell you an exact success case. Maybe we can find out definitely from one or two, and we can probably, if you want to know more, we can definitely even put you in contact with them. We'll be happy to do so in order to if you want to find out more about them, at least their experience with us and beyond that. Okay. We've got something also in the chat, yes?
Yeah, well, I think this is, like, a little bit more difficult for us to answer all those things. I really appreciate that you guys are collaborating. This is exactly why we have created these. I think there's really good value. I saw that you guys were sharing, platforms for, patent search, like Jungle Scout. And then I'm seeing here that if you were creating something where I was saying that, I think when it was a long time ago when I created my prototype with you guys. So it is all about grading.
No, but Daniel says here, what happens if you're creating something really, really simple?
Mm-hmm.
Well, simple. Well, great.
No, like, for me, like, if you are trying to create something simple, indeed, like for us, like, the more simple the idea is, the more we can do, right? So let's say that less is more when talking about prototyping, because, like, there's a lot of complexities that could happen, that could appear during the process. So if you have a simple idea, it is all about execution. You have all that part already gained. So it is about, like, how you want to execute that. And we had really, like, simple ideas that enter into the system, like the floating stick device and all those prototypes. They're, like, simple things that once that they enter into the process, you see how giving the experts the freedom of design and creativity, like, really, really impressive things happen. So I indeed encourage all of you guys to, like, bring, no matter how simple the idea is, into the system, because that is going to make your life way easier.
Yeah. Another question from Chelsea here. What makes LastBasic different from other companies that offer similar services? We're talking about kind of platforms, open innovation, and we've got a number of them, definitely. But what's the difference between LastBasic and them? Let's put, for example, Fiverr and ourselves.
Yeah,
or
so
Upwork.
Good. If we are talking about, like, freelancer platforms, reality is that we are, like, LastBasic is in the middle, and Fiverr, they're not in the middle. Like, they are not going to be, intermediating in between you and the expert. So what happened is that, if you want to go to Fiverr and try to find someone, like, that's going to help you creating a design, that is what you will obtain, a design. But, like, most of the time, like Inventors doesn't really understand, like, how, like, all the different parts that the invention needs for succeeding. So, like, no matter if you try to find someone into those freelancer platforms, they're not going to provide you with, like, the complete parts of the equation, right? So I think it's all about connecting the dots. So we spend our operation team spend in the past. A lot of time, ensuring that disconnections are well enough for ensuring that the prototype happens. That is something that no one of those, like, there's no platform that can offer that, at least the freelancer platforms that we know.
Yeah, I mean, Joseph is mentioning something here. He says, I can answer that based on the market and my project. Apparently, Joseph has done something with them. It's the most economical and the one that gives you feedback in each process. Yes, okay. Definitely. I mean, you can go, as Alejandro said, you can go and find your product designer. You can go and find your electrical engineer. You can go and find your mechanical engineer. But that's something that has to go, one by one. Okay. Mm-hmm. And you get to find each. And then you have to make sure that everything assembles together, which is the difficult part. Mm-hmm. So how do you make the electronics work with the design and at the same time with the mechanical engineering? That's the complex part. And that's where we come in. That's what makes us so different from Fiverr, from Upwork. Mm-hmm. We make sure that the designer matches perfectly the electronics and the mechanical, and that finally you get a prototype that works and it's perfectly functional. You have a huge risk of creating something with Fiverr or with Upwork. And not getting your prototype done ever, to tell you the truth.
Indeed,
that's the fact.
Indeed, they are not offering you like prototype creation, so that is an easy question. So,
Andrea Bertho, yeah.
Well, Andrea, do you help inventors also in the phase of licensing or sell the patent? Do you have partnerships, for example, with IP broker? Yes, definitely yes. The thing is that we are not, like, all those things are not well exposed now in the platform, but we are building all those relations for you. So that is something that I wanted to mention at the end of the webinar. That is that, like, even if the platform looks, that we are not there, because like the platform at the end, it is a digital system, right? There's like people behind that, and we are building something for you at this point. So feel free, please. Just like contact us about like what do you guys need, because we have a lot of things that we want to create and a lot of things that we are testing now. And one of these tests that we want to run is to start giving you access to all these partners that we know that kind of start indeed licensing that idea for you, or you will license the idea and they will help you distributing that idea. And for the IP, for sure, we have really good contacts in the IP sector.
Exactly.
Right?
One of the upsells the additional services we were talking about is the patenting and the IP services that we have with an American company out of Texas. So I mean, definitely that's one of the as I said, additional services that we have.
Good. I think there's another question here in the chat. That is there a lower charge, no electronics, etc.?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely yes. Right?
You would say? Okay.
Go for it.
Okay. There is. Okay. Let's talk about options within payments. If you think that prices are a little bit high, I can tell you they're so much lower than any traditional consultancy. So much lower. If you do the research, you'll find out. But anyways, if you think that they're still high, we've got different options. One is to pay in installments. You can pay in up to 2 or 3 installments with a 30-day difference. Okay. That's an agreement that you reach with me. The other option is to go, we've got another modality or a way to pay, which is called pay as you go. Okay. So instead of doing the whole package, you go phase by phase, module by module. So sketching first, $3.99. Then you can go on to 3D designing. Let's finish off the designing first. So that's 540, I think it is. So the thing is that by adding sketching and the 3D designing, we're talking about €995, just under €1,000, which I think is very, very economical, very affordable. We are giving the option for those people, those inventors who come to us and go for the designing package of $995 to go off with their designs, their visuals, and take your time to show around to your friends, family, investors, and raise the rest of the money to come back to us and finish off the engineer, okay, and the prototyping. We've given that option, so you can take 3 months to show around, to raise that funding, and get back to us, and then we can finish off the prototyping and the engineering. the good thing about this, the benefit about this is that it's much more affordable to some extent because you can pay like little by little. But on the long run, it's more expensive than paying the whole package at once. And also it takes longer because you're taking 3 months at the end or 2 months to go off and find the funding. So keep that in mind.
I think this another important thing in that is that I think that is an option that we really wanted to offer. At the end, the core, like the big call to action here for us is like making well, in this case, not engineering, invention accessible for everyone. So that's why we create that. But also the thing is that if you go with a pay-as-you-go option, then probably you will lose some momentum, right? The thing is that like some inertia that is happening when you create everything at the same time, right? It's like sometimes the same designers that create the sketches decide to join the 3D model, and then after that, they decide to help the electronic engineer somehow. So what I'm saying is that if everything go all together, sometimes there's like not better results, but I think there's some sort of like feeling that everything goes together.
And we can also plan it better than if you go module by module. But anyways, it's another option that we're giving you. It's up to you to decide. There are quite a few since we kicked off this option that have gone that route. So I mean, definitely that's another option there.
There's another question here.
Yes, is Eric?
Is there any chance we can pop to Madrid to meet before starting at work?
That's why Eric, he lives in Malaga. So yes, of course you can. More than welcome, Eric. We'll invite you to a beer. Okay. Is there no more questions?
I think there's no more questions.
No. Let's show the video that we had just to finish off. We had a video that we want to show you just to give you a little bit of scope of who we are, and who's behind us, investors, experts. People. I mean, this was a video that we had done for our anniversary, our 3rd anniversary back in April 2022. And we got a few of them to participate. Just watch it because it's very short. Okay? No.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary to LastBasic from the streets of Paris.
Happy anniversary, LastBasic.
Congratulations, LastBasic, on your anniversary from sunny London.
Happy birthday, LastBasic. Congratulations for your 3rd anniversary.
Me gustaría desearos desde GitHub muchas felicidades por vuestro 3er aniversario.
Congratulations, guys. I am very happy to work with all of you.
There's a really nice, cool team behind of LastBasic, so huge congrats to all the team.
You're an amazing team, you're amazing innovation development.
Felicitaciones a todo el equipo de LastBasic.
You're doing a terrific work, keep it up and continue turning ideas into prototypes.
Keep doing what you do best, revolutionizing prototyping.
Onward and upward, you guys are amazing.
And we are looking forward for many more celebrations.
Y mucho éxito.
And I'm wishing you all the best for many more years to come.
Okay, so that's the video. And to finish off,
there's
the big. There's another question there.
Let me go just closing the
chat. Thank you very much.
Okay. Bye, Andrea.
Andrea had to leave. Okay. To finish off, we have. I think a nice little gift for you. It's a 10% discount, which I'm going to show here. Let's show it. Oh no, it's not working. So as I thought it wouldn't work, let's go the traditional way. Just show it. Okay. So basically, we're giving you before the end of the month. That means 30th of January. We're giving you all a 10% discount on your project, whatever it is. If it's sketching, if it's full project, whatever it is. But you have to do it before the end of the month. All you have to do is, I don't know if the video can you.
Yeah, I think it's working, but I'm not sure how we can do it.
Just in case.
It's working.
Okay. This is the code. Once you go into payment, you've got the invoice you have to fill in with data, with information. There's a cell where you have to put in your code in there. You have to put in webinar 10, no space, okay, altogether. Webinar 10, okay? That's what you have to put in. All right, until the 30th of January. Sorry. Remember, 10% discount. Hope to see you all bringing in your projects. Okay. So, anyways, thank you very much. Anything you need, just drop us an email, Alejandro or myself. I'll be happy to jump into a call if you want to. Irek, more than welcome to Madrid anytime you want to. Anybody else who wants to come all the way to Spain to meet us, we're more than
happy
to do so.
Okay, so thank you very much, everyone. Like, thank you for like being, such a good audience. Exactly, with all these like good comments and good energy here in the chat. Exactly. So bye. Hope to see you
bye
soon.